Hello, and welcome to the second installment in Return of Thunder, my return to YouTube by cleaning up things I didn't finish, did poorly, some combination of the two, or talked about but never got to. This in particular was something I talked about at the end of the previous Mega Man Maker video that I made 2 years ago, where I mentioned I had a big secret project, and that's been done for a while, and that's what this is. Now, this was actually the first thing that I was starting to record, because Mega Man was the first vote to come in on the poll, and I was impatient, and I just worked on it before getting any other votes, but I had some issues, and I had to scrap the video partway through making it. And at that point, Riddle School had more votes, so I just went with that. And now, someone changed their vote from Riddle School to Among Us, because Among Us and Mega Man and Riddle School all have 1 vote each. And I'm just going with Mega Man next, because that's the one that the first vote was. And, yeah, heads up, I'm gonna have to split this into multiple episodes. I'm gonna do 3 of them, because there's 12 levels, and I would like to do 4 levels per episode, and we'll do 3 episodes. So, if you don't know what Mega Man Maker is, it's like Mario Maker, but for Mega Man, so you have all the blocks, enemies, hazards, bosses, items, backgrounds, and music from all the Mega Man games. You can use all those to build your own levels. And ever since I first got into it, I wanted to make like a full Mega Man game, like proper. And that follows the typical formula, which if you don't know, basically you have 8 characters to choose from. You can play them in any order. At the end of their level, you fight the boss, and each boss gives you their weapon. And then each boss is weak to one of the other boss's weapons in like a circle of weaknesses, like a rock, paper, scissors system, but with 8 different things instead of 3. So once you beat the first boss and get their weapon, you can just keep choosing all the bosses that are weak to the previous one and just get them all in a row. And after you beat all 8 stages, you move on to the endgame stages, which typically have 4 stages, and at the end of the last one is the final boss, and you play them in order. Now, my game is called Mega Man Starlight. These Starhold levels are the endgame things, and these guys down here are the Robot Masters. So, we have Cyberman, Engine Man, Flood Man, Glacier Man, Lava Man, Moonflower Man, Sandstone Man, and Spike Dude. So, without further ado, let's get right into Lava Man, because this is the one that I intended for you to play first. It's the easiest level, plus in Mega Man, because you're not going to have any weapons in your first level. It's smart to pick the easiest boss first, because it's going to be the one that you're going to have to spend the most effort on. So this is the easiest boss of them, and that's why I went with this. So anyways, let's just get right into it. We're going to be playing 4 levels today. I'm basically just going to be doing some commentary on, me making the game and stuff like that. So if you're not interested in that, you can always mute the video and just watch the gameplay, but I will have both. So, this is for the weapons, because since I don't know what order you're going to play them in, I have to give you all the weapons available, so you can pick whatever weapons you would have had. Now, I haven't beaten any bosses yet, so I shouldn't have any weapons, so I won't pick them up. But each of these levels has one of these at the start, and because I know you can't get this weapon, because this weapon belongs to this boss, that's where the teleporter is that brings you to the level, and I thought that's pretty clever. Like, for example, this is the weapon you get from beating the ice character, and in the start of the ice character stage, this is where the teleporter is, because I can guarantee that you won't have the weapon. But I don't have any yet, so let's just get right into it. This is Lava Man stage. So, I might provide some behind-the-scenes stuff a little bit, or you can watch as well. So, fire stages, of course, very common. This was the first stage that I made. Typically, when I make games, I always make them in the order that you should play them. If there's optional bits, so like it's a Mega Man game, you can do the 8 stages in any order. I started with the one I intended to be played first, and then I made every stage as the one that's weak to the previous one, just so that it would I was making the game how you would play it. So we have this kind of underground lava thing going on here. I really like this background with the lava falls, and so I decided to build the level around these, so you always have to platform in front of those, and they always fall into actual lava pits down there, which is cool. And here I did a fun trick. It looks like the lava is flowing in front of those platforms, but it's not. There's just no platforms there, because it is part of the background. And because I like having all this focus on the lava, I just made you jump in all the places where there's lava, which is neat. So this level and the next level, I made these two at the very beginning. Oh, there's a checkpoint. I made these two at the very beginning, and then I took a break before making all of the other ones. So the level design is going to be a little bit different. These first two levels are going to be a tad different from every other one. So just keep that in mind. I'm proud of the appearance of this level, though. I took all these backgrounds. Pretty much this entire level, except for that cave part at the beginning, is made out of these blue-green backgrounds with the lava, which come from Shadow Man, I believe, from Mega Man 3. And so do the tiles that I'm using, and so does the lava. So all of the assets here are from Shadow Man. But then I added fire stuff to it, because I feel like that level is not fiery enough. Now here's a fun part at the end of the level. We have this rising flame thing right here. You can see it. I can't show you too much because it will instantly kill you, but it rises and you have to kind of platform to escape from it. And you jump over it and that lands you at the end of the level, which is fun. Most Mega Man games have this kind of thing where you have that little plate above the boss door that says something on it. That, like S, is from the Mega Man Game Boy games, from Mega Man 5, I believe, on the Game Boy, where the characters were called Star Droids, and so that S stood for Star Droid, but I named my game Mega Man Starlight because of that, so pretend it stands for Starlight, or something like that. So let's fight Lava Man, as I've called him in this game. This actual boss that I'm fighting, like in Mega Man Maker, is Flame Man, originating from Mega Man 6. He does jump a lot, and he also does that, yeah, this flame pillar thing that is kind of annoying. But overall, he's still the easiest of the bosses, and so he's the one that you should play first. There you go. So I beat him. We can now move on. Alright, I'm going to move on to Glacier Man stage. This is the one I made second. He's an ice guy. He's going to be weak to the fire weapon because fire melts ice. So, here's this level. See what I was talking about? Because now that I've beaten Lava Man, his weapon is here. And like I was saying before, this is the level where you would get the ice weapon, so obviously you won't have it, so that's where the teleporter is. Now this weapon, this actual weapon, comes from Mega Man 10. It is Solar Man's weapon, called Solar Blaze. It shoots out this orb, and then it splits into two waves that go either direction, and I believe if you hit something, it splits early. So let's move on to Glacier Man. So this is your stereotypical ice level. It's got the slippery ice platforms. I've found that in video games, a lot of people either love or despise ice levels. I think personally it depends on the level design. I feel like ice levels in video games have the ability to be really annoying if they're done badly, but also really cool if they're done correct. So anyways, this is the gimmick of this level. The gimmick of there really wasn't a gimmick in the previous level unless you count like the rising fire at the end. But I try to introduce unique hazards in each level. And this one has these platforms which move to a predetermined location before they fall. And so you gotta kind of platform across them. And so we proceed up here. Some of these rooms I'm not too proud of. I mean, I made this like a year... Oops, I made this like a year ago. I've improved. I made a lot of Mega Man Maker stuff. Some of which I will definitely want to share on the channel. But I've gotten better with my level design. And once again, these first two levels I made before I took a break from making this game. And I had more experience before then, so... There's some janky parts of these first two levels, but everything else after this is polished. These enemies have a lot of health. I believe up here is... Yeah. So, most Mega Man games have these things in it. They're called Yoku blocks. Where they appear and disappear at intervals. You see all these, like, ticks happening. Each platform stays out for 2 of those ticks, and you gotta platform across them. In Mega Man Maker, you can choose, like, you can put these down, you can select where and when they will show up. I put spikes down there so you'd die instead of falling to the previous screen. But yeah, it's been a while since I've done this, since I've made this, so it's kind of hard to remember the exact pattern you have to follow, but there's definitely a lot of tricks in there. You just have to get good at it. I mean, focus. And then you gotta wait and then jump. And then go. There you go. Now we're back. I like to try to change the environments up. I like introducing a couple different environments and then going back between them. So like we went inside that kind of green area. And now we went up it. It was like a little tower kinda. And now we're back in the mountains, but we're higher up than we were before. And now we're in a construction site, because why not? Well, I know why not, because these guys, are called Picklemen, these enemies. I like them a lot. They throw pickaxes at you. I like to include these in a lot of the Mega Man projects that I have, and I don't have any construction-type guys in here, so I wasn't sure where to put them. And I decided, you know what? Let's just make a construction site in the mountains. And then put them there. So that's what I did. Oh yeah, this is something I also got better at. There's a checkpoint right there I just hit, so I have a checkpoint in a room with enemies. So you can get hit as soon as you spawn. And that's something that I've stopped doing. These guys you can just... Oh, those guys you can just run past. Fell into a pit though. I'm just gonna jump up here, and I know I'm gonna get hit, but... There we go. Yeah, you gotta be careful on these icy surfaces. That's the end of the level, I think, right? Yeah. Alright, so we're moving on. Glacier Man. Our ice character. He's gonna be weak to fire, so let me pull that out. Alright. So this real boss that I'm fighting is Freeze Man from Mega Man 7. He does a lot of things. Mega Man 7 has a lot of complicated boss patterns. But as you can see, just like that, most bosses are pretty easy. Once you have their weakness. So there we go. Now we would obtain the ice weapon. Let's move on. So the next level is going to be Moonflower Man. I have a lot of things to say about this level. Okay. So, we have the fire, we have the ice. So this weapon is from Mega Man 5. It's called Crystal Eye. It's not actually ice, it's crystal, but I thought it looked like ice, and that was cool. Also, the problem is that if you happen to play Glacier Man first, before Lava Man, because, I mean, you don't have to play them in the order that the bosses are weak to weapons, but if you do, you can freeze that, the firewall at the end of Lava Man. You can freeze that with ice weapons, and I didn't want you to do that, so I made the weapon as close to ice as I could get without actually being an ice attack, so you can't do that. But this is Crystal Eye. It's basically an orb. When it hits something, it splits into, like, 3 little bouncy orbs that go all over the place. So anyways, here we go. Moonflower Man. This stage is heavily inspired by Mega Man 7's Shade Man, who is like a Dracula vampire character, and his stage is Halloween themed. And I'm even using his music. It's the music you're hearing right now, is his music for the level. Now, I always liked the Halloween stuff, and I thought, hey, I really want to do that. But I didn't want to just use Shade Man himself for the boss, because that would be too repetitive. But then I thought, what else could I use? And what I decided was, what if I make it a Halloween thing, like I want to, but frame it as like a haunted garden place, and then the boss could be a plant in the haunted garden. And then I used Plant Man, who is the real boss. And so I made this. It's Shade Man themed in every way, but the boss itself is Plant Man, and because Plant Man is a plant, he can get frozen by ice, because plants, I feel like, should be weak to cold in video games. And so, that's why he's next. So you see these swinging kind of spike things. I think those are fun. That's the the main gimmick of this level. If I recall, I believe it's the only... Ooh! Okay. That was a good hit from that bird. But I believe that those pendulums are the only, like, actual gimmick from the stage. There's a bunch of unique enemies, but I think it's the only object hazard. Ooh, I was too early. I mean, not get knocked into the pit this time. There we go. Now you jump down, go into the caves. This is more examples of me changing up the scenery. These mummies, I believe, are the only enemies in this level that don't appear in Shade Man's stage. The bats appear everywhere in all the Mega Man games. These crows are originally from Shade Man. A lot of the enemies are, but I do believe that the mummies are the only one, not originating from, but the only ones that don't appear in Shade Man, because they're from Pharaoh Man from Mega Man 4. These guys, who are also from Shade Man stage, I like these a lot. They spawn, you can, like, in Mega Man Maker, you can put these guys down in, like, a range, and choose, like, a speed and whatever, and they'll spawn at that rate. Infinitely, they'll spawn just somewhere near you, and you can choose how many of them can be out. I like using them. And so here I begin combining those with the crows. This is kind of weird level design. There's nothing over here. I don't know why I didn't just close the gap, but you do have to fall here. And this is the mummy section. A lot of mummies in here. And spike, like mace pendulum things. There you go. I do believe we're approaching the end of the level. Yep, so this is the end of the level. You'll see these green bats. I only used these once. I should have used these more. I never used them again in Starlight, but if you see what they do, they come towards you like a normal bat, but then they like zip at you. So I thought it'd be a fun final stretch to introduce that special bat and then have these zombies as well at the same time. But anyways, moving on to Moonflower Man. I already talked about this at the beginning, but this is Plant Man is who this real boss is, and because plants can be frozen by ice, you know, like Cold Snap and stuff like that, he's weak to the ice weapon. Or the faux ice weapon, because it's not really ice. There you go. There's Moonflower Man completed. That's 3 stages. I'm gonna do one more today because you know, these can't be. I definitely can't fit the entire game into one video, not cleanly anyway. So let's move on to Engine Man, who is the next one. He's the one who's weak to the plant weapon. So here's Engine Man. We have our fire, we have our ice, and now we have our plant. We just fought Plant Man. This is Plant Man's actual weapon from the game he's from, Mega Man 6. It's a shield, but if you notice, if you look at my weapon energy up there in the corner, it's not actually going away. And that's because this is a unique shield weapon. It only depletes energy when something hits it, so when it's actually used, which is good. It deals damage to things it touches, but also, if any projectiles touch it, the shield, it consumes some of its weapon energy, but it converts the projectile into a health pickup. So it's basically a way to not only block projectiles, but heal yourself. So you get healed by things that touch you, instead of hurt by them, which is very nice, and especially useful in a game like this. I was also trying to find as much variety as I could with the weapons that I chose to represent these characters. It does deplete very fast once you're starting to use it, though. So, Engine Man. This is the factory level. The industrial level. This is, I believe, the first level to have 2 different gimmicks in it, instead of just 1 or 0 in the case of Lava Man. So there's these steam things, which they blow out continually when you're near them. So if you see if I walk away from them, they'll stop doing that. You see that one will stop. So steam cracks, I thought, would fit very well in this factory stage. There are a lot of pits in this level as well, because I tried to make it dangerous with these bomber guys, because there's a lot of knockback. So if you get hit by them, you get knocked into a pit. I use these guys too, this fire guy spawner, so I kind of combined that with the steam. And then here, I put all 3 of these together, so you have to stand between the steam and the fire guys while you're fighting this enemy. And this, I really don't know what I was doing here. It follows the same color scheme that the factory does, but it's just kind of this random, like, tower. I'm gonna get blown up. No, I did not get blown up. Wonderful. Now it's green because, you know, why not? And there's some lava in here. It's one of the random associations I have. I always associate, like, factory levels with lava. I always like putting lava in my factory levels. And then there's this water. I realized when I was making these that this water and this lava look very similar. So I said, you know what, how about I change one of these into a water? This is obviously the only one that doesn't kill you, and it lets you sink down into the next part, which is fun. I think I bring back the water again at the end of the level, where I combine it with this new gimmick that we're introducing here, which is these spin wheels. You can choose the number of platforms on it, you can choose the speed that it rotates, you can choose how many, or what direction it goes in. And I thought that was really fun, and I thought these looked kinda mechanical, so I said, you know what, I'm putting these in my factory. And now we basically kinda go along with those two gimmicks. You see here, these are going in different directions and in different speeds, so you have to time your way through them. That health pickup is a trap. You'll certainly get hit by all the steam on the bottom. Isn't that cool? Checkpoint. We got the introduction of this enemy, which I used a lot. It's basically 3 tires stacked on top of each other. Oop. Alright. It's 3 tires stacked on top of each other. Each one, like, flicks out from the bottom towards you. And then once all 3 of them go, I'll show you it's just this head left who begins to bounce around. I think there's another one right here. Yeah, there he is. So this is what they actually do. You can also shoot these to destroy them, or deal more damage to the actual unit. I do believe that this is a trick path. If I recall, I believe you actually have to go down here. Do that kind of... Yep. You can just sit here and wait for this guy. He'll eventually fall into the pit. Now I combine these guys with steam. Oh yeah, here it is. So I brought back the water. Now you're underwater, so you have different gravity. Now we have to do platforms. See, I'm mixing together the different directions and speeds and number of platforms to make this kind of fun way to end the level. I always like to do this, where I end most of my levels with like this big kind of finale where you just use one gimmick back to back over a giant pit. And in this case, it's the wheels. So moving on, fighting Engine Man, who is weak to the plant because he's a machine, so plants overgrow the machine, they clog it. It's the same logic why in Mega Man 2 Airman is weak to the plant weapon. Oh, so this is the only boss, I believe, in my game that I made here to have a boss arena that is actually 2 screens wide. And also it has this big conveyor belt that switches directions. And there he is. This actual boss is Charge Man from Mega Man 5. And this is really cool because he runs a lot. His whole thing is going fast. So I said, you know what? He moves horizontally a lot. How about make his thing 2 screens wide? And then also put a conveyor belt that switches directions constantly. So it's easy to get tripped up, but I beat him. So that is Engine Man done. I'll open another level real quick just to show you the weapon. I'll open Sandstone Man. This is the next one we should be going to anyway. And this will be the what I do in the next episode. But the weapon you get from him, this actual weapon is Pile Driver from Mega Man 11. It's basically this kind of dash. You can do it on the ground, you can do it in midair. And I don't have any walls here to show you, but if you hit a wall or an enemy, you do damage, and then you, like, jump backward. You have a lot of, like, recoil if you do that. So sometimes, if you're trying to go across a gap, but there's a wall, you gotta be careful, because if you go too far before you dash, you might hit a wall and bounce back. But, oh yeah, you can do it multiple times, by the way. See? I didn't mean to pick that up, but you can do it multiple times. Well, I can't now because I'm out of ammo, but you get the point. That's the weapon. I'm gonna leave it off here for now. The next video should be coming out soon. I'm gonna record these all at once, just so I can get them all out of the way, and then I'll upload them probably just one day. I'm assuming. So whenever you're watching this, you'll probably see the next episode tomorrow. So yeah. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next one.